Hey everybody, before I even get started, all praises due to Jehovah God and Jesus Christ every day. Amen. Now let's start the show.
Do you have a passion project you'd like to bring to life? Let Jamila Adams at Your Service help you. Jamila Adams at Your Service was created to assist businesswomen 40 plus by bringing their passion project to life through website design and marketing. Visit her website, JamilaAdamsAtYourService.com, and register for a free 30-minute consultation. Remember, you have a voice. Use it.
It's time for some hostile therapy.
Check out Hostile Therapy with Big Red on Thursdays at 7 p.m. You don't want to miss it. Live on YouTube. Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Preezy from Listen Up, Listen In podcast. This is a podcast discussing different topics that will help us motivate, educate, differentiate, heal, laugh, grow, and improve ourselves throughout our daily lives. With my special co-host guest, trust me, you are going to laugh and have a good time. So whether you're in your car, relaxing at home, on the job, hanging out with your family and friends, get ready to tune in to Listen Up, Listen In podcast. See you soon.
Tanya, you ready?
Listen up, listen in. 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 Thanks for tuning in. Let's have a conversation. Talking worldwide, it don't matter your location. What you going through and the topic may have relation. Let's get some motivation. Let's talk about education. Every Friday we heal, laugh, improve, and grow. Put some nutrients in your mind, give you food for the soul. I know you pumped and preparing for your weekend and low. Might as well join the discussion and tune into the show. Listen up, listen in. Listen up, listen in. Listen up, listen in. Listen up, listen in. Listen up, listen in.
Hey, everybody. Yeah. Welcome to Listen Up, Listen In podcast. I'm so happy that you guys tune in to join my show once again. And of course, you know I have a special guest. I always have these awesome guests. That's why I do this. I love it. But let me tell you a little bit about this young lady that I have on my show today. A retired nutritionist. At 75 years old, she just published 3 books in the last year, and she's working on an ebook series of advice in story form for the younger generations. And trust me, they need it. It's called Badass Nana Says, with subtitles to fit subject matter. She loves writing, but can't market worth a nickel, and would rather create than sell. She says, help me sell. Help me. She has less time than others, and she laughs at that. No techie great at links below, but she's on several socials. Just tech knowledge challenge. That's okay. Just tech challenge. We all tech challenge. It happens. It happens. Which doesn't help with marketing. And she says, dang it. But that's okay. She's here with me today. So without further ado, a round of applause for Suzy Blake. What's up, Suzy? How you doing?
Hey, Preezy, I'm doing great. Thank you so much for having me on today. I really appreciate it.
Thank you so much for being here. And before I even get started, I always like to ask my guests, how is your day going so far?
My day is going not too bad at all. Now that we got over the tech bump, um, I warned you in advance that I'm not techie, so but
Okay.
it's a great day here, and we've got beautiful sunshine and birds singing, and it's good. Everything's good.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah, it's okay. I'm not techie, either. I have to ask questions, write things down, so it's okay. But I'm glad we got through it and we here, so let's get it started.
All right.
Now I done read your bio now, but this your story. So I need you to tell my beautiful audience out there who is Suzy Blake and what you do.
Well, I am retired, but I don't feel it. I think I'm busier now than I ever was. I try to write every day, and I have produced 3 books in, but they were over time. They were over time. I wrote The Teeter Totter, which is a memoir of my childhood, which was really kind of unusual in the fact that I was adopted and my mom wanted me to be a nun. So
Wow.
she was Catholic on steroids, and my daddy was an agnostic. So there's that.
Wow.
He, yeah, there was a lot of conflict, to put it mildly, in our house, and my dad wasn't all that convinced that they needed to adopt me. So he wasn't quite sure what to do with a little girl that he really didn't want, but he decided that um, genius training was going to be his thing. So he put his all into getting me to read and write before I even started kindergarten, which made
Wow.
me kind of a freak all my life because I was always way ahead of the kids that were my age. So I started hanging out with older kids all the time. And that didn't bode too well either because I had a limp because I had polio as a young baby,
Mm.
and I had glasses, and my clothes were not appropriate. Apparently, I don't know. They used to call me Orphan Annie, so I had a lot of bullying and stuff in my childhood.
Wow.
Anyway, it was a weird childhood, but I decided on the advice of a therapist that I went to in my 20s. He told me, someday, Susie, you need to write your childhood, but write the good stuff. Just write the
Right.
good stuff and let that be your stone. So it took me a lifetime and actually 11 years to write What the Teeter Taught Her. But I got it out. I did it. I'm real proud of the work that I did on that book. And it's funny, it's sad, it's silly, but it was my life
Right.
until from like 0 to 14. I
Right.
decided I had to quit at 14 because if I wrote the whole life story, there's too many people that are still alive. I was
Right.
really safe with cutting it off at 14 because everybody in the book is no longer with us. So I didn't
Wow.
have to worry about, you know, making anybody feel bad.
Wow.
So that's the one book. The other book, Saved, was a dream that I had, and it was a reoccurring dream that where God was telling me He's very disappointed in the world. He's disappointed in us. He really didn't like what was going on. And funny enough, 40 years ago, I bought a painting from a Vietnam vet. And I bought this painting in Leavenworth, Washington. I'll never forget it. It was a little art fair. And this guy had PTSD when he came home from Vietnam, and they gave him colored pencils in the hospital, and he started sketching. Well, his entire exhibit was one painting, but it was done in different sizes, different colors, and little variation in all of them. And what it was a globe of, the earth, and then up in the sky in the universe were the eyes of God with tears. So I've actually had that made into the cover of my book, Saved. It's about the reboot of humanity and the planet. And it's a science fiction fantasy, but it's God coming down and doing a complete makeover. HGTV has nothing on this makeover because
Yeah. Oh yeah.
If people, I think the world right now is in such a crazy state. It's almost like an old-fashioned coffee pot that's percolating. It's just bubbling and churning and spitting out and just, I don't know, it's crazy. But if you
Yeah.
want to have a couple hours of a break from that craziness, read the book Saved, because it comes from the chaos that we have today, and within a little more than 200 pages turns into almost utopia.
Wow.
So
Awesome.
that was a fun book. It came to me as a dream, and it was like a lucid dream where I was watching a movie, and I kept telling myself, Susie, you got to remember this. You got to write this down. This is good. And I woke up in the morning, didn't remember a thing.
Wow.
Not a thing.
Wow.
So that particular day, I have a visioning class that I was attending. And for the class, we meditate for 20 minutes at
Right.
the beginning of the class. And I was in the middle of the meditation, and the whole book downloaded in my brain. And I said, I have to go. I need to go write this down before I
Yes.
forget. And I wrote nonstop for about 5 or 6 days. I was writing until I couldn't see straight anymore, like 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock in the morning, just trying to get it all out.
It's
So,
amazing.
yeah, and it's a fun book. I mean, you can't get serious about it because it eliminates a lot of things that we're kind of attached to, but with a reason. So there's that. And then my third book, I actually wrote about 20 years ago, and
What?
it was sitting in a drawer. I had been teaching a class called Creative Thinking and Writing for Kids, and I worked with from 10 to 15-year-olds on Saturday mornings. And the class got so popular that before I knew it, I had 4 classes on Saturdays. And then the word got, um, through the parents and the kids, the word got to the school district, who then contacted me and had me come teach the teachers.
Wow.
So, and all this time, people are saying, wow, you should write a book. You should write a book. So, so I did, but I didn't have a lot of luck getting it published, and I just put it in a drawer, and for 20 years it sat there collecting dust.
Oh my goodness.
I
20
know,
years.
I know. Well, that's what I'm busy doing now that I've retired. I've got all these ideas. I've got half-started stuff. I have a novel that's 3/4 done. I have another book that's kind of an Irma Baumbeck funny book. That's about a third done, and now I'm working on this Nana series. So,
Wow.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
you're not retired. You're not retired.
No,
But if you
no,
love
I'm
it,
not retired.
no, you ain't
I feel like I'm working full time.
retired. Oh yeah, it sounds like it. But if you love what you're doing, that's what counts.
Oh, I do,
There you
and
go. See?
it's been a fun experience because as I was writing Teeter Totter, which was my memoir, I was discovering a lot of things about myself that I had forgotten.
Wow.
And it so inspired my best friend down here that she started writing her memoirs.
Nice.
And then the two of us were out to lunch with a third girl talking about how much we're learning about ourselves as we're writing, and what a creative way to get to know you. The third girl decided she was going to write her memoir. So it's
Wow.
like I started this big trend here of,
Nice.
but there are a lot of things, Preeti. I'm sure everybody goes through this, wondering, why am I afraid of heights? Or why am I afraid of water? Or, you know, where did these things come from? And when you start really looking back in your childhood, sometimes you'll find out why.
Right.
I
Right.
know why I'm afraid of water now. Not afraid of water. I mean, I love boating. And I love floating on a mat in a pool, but I don't
Right.
like swimming.
Right.
But I had an accident with a little girl who was twice my size that tried to drown me in her swimming pool.
Oh, boy.
And I'd forgotten about that until I started writing about how Linda tried to kill me in her swimming pool. And I thought, no wonder I don't like to do water sports, you know?
Like literally try to drown you, or did she
Yeah.
flip the
Oh
like
no,
the
she
raft?
sat on me. She sat on me in the pool.
Oh, wow.
I
Did you
mean, it
ever
was
tell
only,
anybody? Like,
well, it was 2 feet of water. I mean, it wasn't like, but people die in their bathtubs. And
right.
I did give her quite a smack in the face, and it
There you
caused her
go.
to have a bloody nose,
There you go.
uh, which stopped her immediately and turned the water all pink. And of course, she had to lie about it. Um, and my
So
mom
she
had seen
didn't.
the whole thing from the window, so I
Oh,
was
wow.
banned from her swimming pool. But that's okay. She doesn't
Yeah.
know to this day that I borrowed her bike on several occasions to learn how to ride it, and showed my dad when she wasn't home that I knew how to ride a bike so that I could have a bike of my own.
Right.
So she doesn't know it, but I borrowed her bike.
Payback.
Well, not
Wow.
really, considering she tried to kill me, but
I know, but thank God you were able to get out of that.
yeah,
Power.
yeah. Well,
You
it's
are
made me
happy
kind of a
something.
scrappy person, you know. It's like
Wow.
don't mess with me. I might be tiny, but I'm tough.
Yeah, kids could be so the bullying stuff. And so you said you were bullied?
Oh, in school, terribly. I had
Jeez.
glasses when I was 6 years old. I mean, you know how freaky little kids look in glasses. They just don't make them for little kids.
Right.
Um, and then I had a limp, and then I was adopted, so they called me Orphan Annie. And
Oh,
oh,
goodness.
yeah, I had a lot of bullying, a lot of bullying.
How did that
So,
affect you growing up? Like,
well, you know, you don't have a lot of confidence in yourself, that's for
right,
sure.
right,
You feel like the whole world thinks you're some kind of a freak. And on the other hand, I had my mom telling me how very precious and special I was. So she kind of tried to overcompensate for that. And I could see right through it, you know. And I thought, no, she doesn't know that the rest of the world doesn't think I'm so cool.
wow,
But yeah, it I know that the bullying that goes on today is probably a lot worse than what I went through, but it does make you really aware, especially when I was parenting my own kids, to never say unkind things to people.
right.
It's just not the right thing. And you know, there's that lady karma. Karma will come.
Mm-hmm.
I believe in karma, and they'll get theirs. So I think all the bullying made me so aware of what bullying was that I went out of my way never to bully, to always
Right,
be nice to everybody, even if they were mean or curmudgeony looking or weird. I've always rooted for the underdog. I'm always out there. Hey, you can't do that to that group of people. You know, like what's
right,
going on today. Especially, I live in Florida. You can only imagine.
right.
Um, yeah.
Can't say nothing to nobody in Florida. They'll shoot you.
Oh, I
Like,
know. I
everybody
know.
just
And now
pulling out. Like, jeez.
it's crazy down here. It's crazy. It's like we're stepping back in time. I
Wow,
don't know of anybody that supports what's going on. I really don't. And
wow.
I have a tremendous circle of of gay friends
Mm-hmm.
who are all just, you know, they're like, we don't know whether we should move or where we should move to, because if this keeps going, other states are going to start picking up on this stuff. Some of them have already.
Wow.
So I know And the NAACP already sent a travel warning for don't come down here.
Wow.
Yeah,
Wow. Florida.
I know.
Florida. Supposed to be the retired state. If you ain't
Yeah,
dealing
right.
with people fighting and shooting and bullying, you're dealing with alligators. Alligators walking
Well,
across your yard. How do you have a
it's not.
dog in Florida if you got alligators just walking across? Like, how do you have any pets outside? You can't, I
Oh,
guess.
the alligators are only where there's
Where the
ponds or
water is?
water
Okay.
nearby. Yeah, they're
Yeah.
not roaming around, like
I
wild
hope not.
chickens in your yard. No, no,
No,
no, no.
no. I don't want to be going to Disney World and see an alligator just walk past Mickey.
Oh, no, no,
'Cause-
no. I've only seen, I've been down here for 10 years and I've only seen one alligator when I was golfing, and it was in a
oh,
pond
yeah.
when I was
Okay.
golfing. And then I went down, a friend of mine took me to Mayaca State Park, which is where all the alligators really, really live. It's like swampland down there.
Right.
And they've got a boat that they'll take you out on the boat and you can see the alligators.
Ooh.
And I went out there and saw a bunch of alligators and I'm like, okay, I've seen the alligators. I'm done. I'd much rather go to Jungle Land and feed the flamingos because that's a real blast.
Wow. Nice. Nice.
Yeah,
So how did
I
you get
like
to?
my bird.
Oh yeah, I love all animals. Yes. How did you get over the fear of water? Are you still a little scared?
Um, I did take a lot of swimming lessons
Oh,
and
that's
I actually took snorkeling lessons in a
whoa.
pool
Wow.
and I was doing okay with that. And then I went on a trip with a bunch of couples to the Bahamas, and we were supposed to go on this sailing catamaran and then go snorkeling down by the reef to see all the beautiful fish and everything. So this is what I had prepared myself for, and I was the last person to get off the boat and actually go into the water, and the water was crystal clear, and I saw this big old conch shell, and I thought, okay, I'm going to go down there, get that shell, and swim back up to the boat, and I can say I have snorkeled. So I went down there, got the shell, came back up and got on the boat, took off my little fin things and that silly pipe that you have to breathe through, and I put this shell up to my ear because you're supposed to be able to hear the ocean waves in these
Right.
shells, right? So, I was a northerner. I didn't know anything about it. So I put the shell up to my ear and I'm listening to this whooshing sound. And all of a sudden, these two black antennas, start crawling right out of the shell. Well, it freaked me out. I
Hmm.
screamed. I took the shell. I threw it back in the water. And that's the end of my snorkeling adventure. I, I have
Like
no desire to do it again. I mean, yeah, there's fish down there and they're real
yeah.
pretty, but I don't need them touching me. I
Oh
don't want
yeah.
to be touched by fish, so um, I don't go in the water.
Wow.
But I
Wow.
love sitting by the beach. I mean, that's really
Yes, it is.
tranquil, but I don't
Yes.
go in the water.
Yeah. Sitting by the beach is really cool. It's relaxing. It's like a woosah.
Yeah,
Yeah. We need
yeah,
that.
we do, we
Now,
do.
when did you first start writing? Because you were a retired nutritionist, and I want to talk about that. So how long were you a nutritionist and then decide, hey, I want to write. I want to.
Oh, I was actually writing before.
Oh, you
I
were
did.
writing before. Okay.
Oh, yeah, I did some freelancing and I worked for the Daily Herald, which was the largest suburban newspaper outside of Chicago.
Okay.
Um, so I wrote for them. I was very entrepreneurial, doing multiple things at the same time because I was teaching on Saturdays and during the week, I worked for the newspaper and had a column twice a week, um, and then I started going to school because I was having a lot of physical ailments. I had been diagnosed from the time I was a teenager with Oh, they had me diagnosed with everything, ulcerative colitis and Crohn's disease and um, spastic colon and all this stuff. And I thought, you know what? As an adult, I can't take this. And I hated the medications that they were giving me. So
Right.
I went to school and learned about cellular biology, which was my favorite subject, believe it or not. But I learned about food and what the effects are in the body. I went on to become a master herbalist. I studied herbs for 4 years. And I am pleased to announce that since I did all this in my 40s, I am virtually healthy. I don't have colon problems. Um, I don't have any problems really. I'm 75 years old, and the doctors don't know what to do with me because I'm not on any medication.
Beautiful. That's beautiful. Beautiful. Awesome. That is
So I
nice.
must be doing, I must be doing something right. I make sure I get enough exercise. I drink a lot of water. I do take supplements,
Yes.
but I eat right. I don't eat a lot of meat. I don't eat a lot of dairy. So I'm keeping myself pretty dang healthy.
That's excellent. So you take your vitamins.
Hmm.
You eat a lot of vegetables
Oh yeah,
and fruits.
yeah. Fruits and vegetables. Probably more vegetables than fruits,
Okay.
but
Um, Nothing out of a
I,
can. Because I'm trying to get back into the health thing myself. So your
mhm.
vegetables are frozen vegetables, nothing out of a can, right?
Never out of a can if I can help it.
Okay.
The only
Okay.
thing is like tomatoes. Sometimes if you need tomatoes for a recipe,
The
you
only thing
can
is I
use the
have
tomato.
GERD, and so tomatoes have acid, so
Oh
that might
yeah,
be a problem for me. Yeah.
yeah,
But I'm really
yeah,
trying to get back into the health thing. I gotta increase my fruits, but I gotta be careful with certain fruits because of the acid. But I'm really
yeah.
trying to increase the vegetables and different things like that, like salad, trying to do more salads and stuff.
Do,
Do you
do you
work
have
out?
heartburn a lot? Do you have heartburn a lot?
Do I what?
Have heartburn?
Actually, no. But I was diagnosed with GERD many years ago. And
Okay.
I do notice that sometimes if I overeat, I can feel the acid coming up.
Mm.
Or,
Okay.
yeah, so I was told to eat small portions. Definitely
Mhm.
gotta work out
Mhm.
and
Mhm.
watch the acid intake. So I'm constantly, okay, no tomato sauce, and no, no tomatoes, and not too much orange juice. Stay away, not too many apples, because all that's a lot of acid.
Oh.
So it kind of, it sucks a little bit.
Do you drink a lot of water during the day?
Yes, I have increased my water. Before, I wasn't good at water. Yeah, I take a little bit here and there, but now it's like, nah, water, water, water. I don't drink any sodas unless it's salsa once in a
Mhm.
while.
Mhm.
And definitely water, 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 water. Sometimes I might do a little vitamin water, but I try to watch the sugar, you know.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
that's the biggest thing. My biggest problem is bread. Croissants,
Yeah.
bagels, and pasta. I
Uh-huh.
can't. Gotta stay. I gotta stay. That's the problem. That's the
Yeah.
problem. I can eat bread all day long, and that turns into sugar. So,
Absolutely. Yeah,
but
I
that's
know.
good. I'm glad you. I'm looking at your picture behind these books. I'm like 75. Now I don't think 70. To me personally, I don't think 75 is old. I just don't. That's just me. But you look
Oh,
awesome. I would
good.
never. I would have never thought that you were 75. Not in this picture. I'm like, oh, this hot mama right here. Look at that.
Thank
Suzy
you.
looking nice. No, these pictures are very nice, especially the one where you're on the swing. It's like you're on a little.
Oh,
Is that
that's the teeter totter.
That's the teeter totter. I love that. I love how you captured that. That is awesome. These pictures are beautiful.
Oh,
Very
thank
nice.
you.
Your books
Thank
are, oh
you.
my goodness. They're nice. And thank you for sending me these books.
You are
That
so welcome.
Oh man, this is awesome. I can't wait. I am gonna take a month off because I'm retired, but I really don't feel like I am either. But I'm gonna take
There
a
you
month
go.
off, read these wonderful books, and just sit back and relax. I like I'm scared of water too, Susie. I'm very afraid of water. What happened to me? That's why I asked you, how did the young lady try to harm you in the water? My story was in Florida. I think I was about 20, and I was with my brother, my little brother, and we were on like a little raft, a little balloon raft thing,
Mhm. Mhm.
and these little kids just came and flipped it. Now I didn't know how to swim, and the first
Oh,
thing, what happens? You panic.
sure.
And for the grace of God, I don't know how we did it, but we just kept kicking and kicking and kicking. And we got to the wall. And with all my strength, I just lifted my body up. But then I said to myself, my little brother's gone because I don't even have the strength to go get him. I don't know how to swim. And
Yeah.
he got up too. And from there, I was so afraid of water. Like, I don't play with water. I tell people, if you ever push me in water, you better have a train ticket to Georgia because I'm gonna find you. I don't play and I don't like when people push people in the water. I hate it. So
Yeah.
I said, and I know I'm 50, I said this year I was going to take swimming lessons. Yes, it's it's, I waited a long time, but I said to myself, let me go do it. You know, I'm going to go
Mhm.
and take lessons this year. I said I was going to do it, but I have the fear of water. Um, I want to go on a cruise, but I'm looking at the water like, oh my God, that's a lot of water.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
I said, I got to do it. I got to do it. And, I scratched off the plane off my bucket list. Last year was the first time I ever flew on a plane. And
Oh,
so
wow.
yeah, I got a lot of 52 years old. The first time I ever flew on a plane. So I got a lot of things that hold me back. My fears, because I'm scared. I'm like, but everybody like can't live your life like that.
No,
No.
it's all in your head, Breezy. All of
Yeah,
our fears are in our head. They're not real.
yeah, yeah. You're
That,
right.
yeah. It's
So
all in our head.
yeah, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna get on that boat.
I
I'm gonna
have a
get on it.
sign over my desk in gold letters, and it says "Be fearless."
Yes.
And that's real. It's hard. I know you've got fears. I've had fears, and just dealing with that. But if you just keep telling yourself to be fearless, you can accomplish a lot more, and you'll realize that half the things that you were afraid of are nothing to be afraid of. That we
Right.
just concoct things in our heads, and we
You're
talk
right.
negative language in our heads all the time, and we don't understand what we're doing to ourselves.
You're right, because we miss out on a lot of opportunities. I know I did in life. I missed on a lot of opportunities because of fear.
Right,
Because
right.
of fear. So, no, I'm scared. What if this happens? Blah, blah, blah. So, yeah, I messed up on a lot of great opportunities, but, try to not think about the past and stuff like that. Just keep moving forward. So, you're absolutely right about that. So,
It sounds
I,
like with you making your swimming debut, this is going to conquer one fear.
yes. Yes. You know what? I think so crazy. I'm like, oh my God, what if the person that's teaching me I drown? I'll be thinking about the crazy. Oh my God, what if he forgets me and drops me? And I'll just be making excuses, but I know that I gotta go do it. You know, it's so important to learn how to swim.
Mm-hmm.
And I had an
It is.
episode of Can You Swim? Are you teaching your kids to swim? So here I am telling everybody, you need to learn to swim. And I haven't done it. So I'm gonna I'm
Uh-huh.
gonna do it. Yeah, I'm gonna do it. So
You know
how was it
what?
being No, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Make a deal with yourself that you aren't allowed to say anything negative about swimming in
Yes.
your own head. You
Okay.
cannot say a negative word about swimming in your head. Just try that for a while and see how that works.
I'm gonna try it, Susie. I'm gonna try swim, swim, swim. I'm gonna try it every morning. I'm swimming, swim. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it. Yes. So, how long were you a nutritionist?
About 18, 20 years.
Wow,
Yeah,
that's
I
awesome.
taught classes in nutrition at a couple of the health clubs that were in my area up north, and also did some special counseling with people out of my home. You know, if they had some health challenges and weight loss or whatever that they wanted to um, treat in a natural way rather than a
Right,
pharmacological way.
right.
Um, so yeah, that was good. I did it for myself, but I also, when I realized how powerful it is to have a good command of nutrition in your own head, I just wanted to share it. It's like
What?
I give advice away free now. I don't charge
Right.
people or anything. It's like if you have a problem, um, let me think of something you might try in a natural. You know, I can't profess to cure anything of anybody, but there are an awful
Right.
lot of opportunities you can take to try natural things before you go taking some pills.
What
And
advice could you give? Could you give a little something to us right now? Just a little sample of
sure,
what's a good thing to do if you're really looking to take steps to have a healthy lifestyle.
well, obviously movement is huge.
Yes.
Moving your body, even if it's walking. Walking is the easiest, cheapest, less injurious thing that you can do for yourself is
Right.
is move that body, walking, drinking water. Um, what I would suggest to you, Preezy, because you have this acid buildup, you can get alkaline drops to add to your water.
Okay.
And what you need to do is establish a more alkaline, um, an alkaline response in your body rather than acid. And you can do that with the drops. You can also change your pH, which if people have heartburn, this is a good thing to try because I've given this remedy to several people who swear by it and said, "Oh, thank you. I've never had heartburn since I've started doing this." Um, Apple cider vinegar, 1 tablespoon of apple cider vinegar, 1 tablespoon of honey in a glass of water. If you don't like it cold, put it in a cup and drink it like tea. And
Okay.
if you're having heartburn, I would do that first. I would take a drink of that. I had a friend who, well, he's still my friend actually, um, had heartburn every time we ate dinner. And I was doing a lot of the cooking, and I thought, well, there's no reason he should have heartburn from this. So I told him to start drinking the apple cider vinegar twice a day, once in the morning and once at night for a solid week, and then just drink it once a week. Do you know, since he did that, and I've known this guy for 10, 11 years, he hasn't had a lick of heartburn. Not a
Wow.
lick.
That's
So
awesome.
that's a real simple, easy thing for people to do if they're having indigestion problems. I would never recommend people take the PPIs, the Prilosec and what's that purple pill, Nexium or whatever. If you're
Hmm.
having indigestion problems, don't take those pills. Do not.
Right.
Try a natural remedy first because those things actually increase your body's desire to produce more acid. It'll give you relief for a while, but the reason you have to keep taking it and taking it is
Right.
because your body is getting different messages from that than what
Right.
you intend. You know, it's not really going to reduce your acid. It's meant to keep you on the medicine. And that's my biggest problem with big pharma is that the medicines that you take don't cure what you're taking them for. They mask the symptoms.
Right.
So if
And
there's
they
any
do
way to
damage to
find
other
an
things. Yeah.
hmm
They could do.
Oh,
They did.
absolutely. You know, you
Yeah.
start out with one pill it gives you a side effect that the doctor will give you another pill for. And by the time, I mean, I'm in my 70s, I know people that are taking a shoebox full of pills.
Wow.
It's just a
Wow.
shoebox full of pills. It's
Mm.
like, do you remember that show Biggest Loser,
Yes.
where they went to the camps and learned how to
Mm-hmm.
eat and learned how to exercise? And I mean, they did
Yeah.
put those people through some pretty intense, hellacious exercises. But by the time they were through, they didn't need their shoebox full of pills because they
Wow.
corrected everything with their diet and their supplements and their exercising and their water. You know, it can be done. People don't have to take these pills for life. You just have to be committed. I can't tell you how many clients I had that could get off their diabetes medicine once they lost the weight and learned how to eat right. And they were
Right.
off the diabetes medicine. So it can be done. It can be done. You just have to say, hey, it's more important for me to have my body functioning than for me to be a lazy ass and take a pill.
Yeah, that diabetes is something else. You really have to. Oh, it's that sugar, huh?
Mm. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. What about cholesterol? What can you recommend
Oh,
when it comes to cholesterol?
cholesterol, you can take red yeast rice, which is a supplement, and that's actually what they started making statins from, was red yeast rice. I would take that before I'd take a statin. The biggest thing with cholesterol is fiber. If you can
Right.
eat a very high fiber diet, that will help get the cholesterol down. So will um, exercise.
Yes.
But
Exercise.
fiber is real important. I have a cholesterol problem. That's probably the only thing that's abnormal in all my blood work and everything. And I'm taking citrus of bergamot now. I'm trying that to see if that will work as well as red yeast rice. But I'm not too personally, I am not too concerned about the numbers because there's a test you can have. I think it's an NMR. Ask your doctor. But you
Okay.
can get this test that you usually have to pay extra for, and it measures the size of your cholesterol. Now, there's two different sizes of cholesterol. There's the little sticky kind, which is the really, really bad kind because it really gloms onto your walls. And then there's the big, fluffy kind. Now, I had this test done, it was probably about 15 years ago. Should probably have it redone. But at the time, my cholesterol was basically the big, fluffy kind.
Okay.
So I was not as concerned. I'm in the 250 range, and yeah, they have their number. They want you under 200. It's an
Right. Yes.
arbitrary number. It's an arbitrary number. Um, what's good blood pressure for one person might be bad for another. You know,
Right.
what the doctors have tried to do is take an average. Well, you know, we're not all average. Some of us are
Right.
way off the charts on the left, and some are way off the charts on the right. So you can't be forced into um, following exactly what their number is, because their number to me is should be fluid. It's not, but it should be a fluid number based on all the other results that you have on your blood test, not just this one number, but based on everything. How you doing, you know, and how I'm doing is great. The
Awesome.
homocysteine levels are really more important, they're discovering, than cholesterol numbers. So if your
Yes.
doctor isn't checking for your homocysteine, get that checked.
Oh yeah.
That's really a better indicator of heart disease than cholesterol is your
Yeah.
homocysteine level.
Oh yeah. Heart disease is no joke.
Nope,
Definitely.
not at all.
Uh, So you got this new book coming out, ebook series, that is
Mhm.
for the younger generation called Badass Nana Says. Tell me a little bit
That's
about that.
well, I took a class in um, marketing and how to promote and all this kind of stuff. And they said, Hey, the best-selling thing right now are ebooks, and the best-selling ebooks are series, and the best-selling series are health and wellness. So I thought, well, gee, if I can't put something together with my background, I'm in the wrong business. So I thought about it and thought about it, and I don't know if y'all remember the fruitcake lady from Jay Leno years ago,
Oh man, that
but
lady's. I just watched her 2 weeks ago. I laughed so hard. I
I
still laugh
know.
at what she. Oh my God, this
I
lady was
know. So
funny,
I
man.
thought, okay, I'm going to have a badass Nana that's just like the fruitcake lady, who is unfiltered, irreverent, sassy, sarcastic, and she's just going to tell you what she thinks. And
And
she
she was from
doesn't have,
Florida.
yeah, there you
She was
go.
from.
There you go.
Yes.
Was she really? I didn't know that.
Yes, she was from Florida. A matter of fact, I'm gonna find her clips of when people were asking her questions. Oh my God, I laughed so hard. She's from Florida. She
Okay,
was from
well,
Florida. She died many years ago though, but she was from Florida.
I'm trying to resurrect her.
Oh
And
man.
my first book, which is done but not out yet, because I'm doing a series of 3, and I want
Right.
them all released at the same time. The first one's going to be free. Everybody loves free,
Oh yeah.
and yeah, yeah. So the first one is Badass Says, Drop the Weight. So it's an innovative approach to weight loss, and it's not for sissies.
Right. All right. That's cool.
And it's done in a story form because one of Nana's granddaughters is coming, and she's got a real weight problem, and so Nana helps her. But she's mean, she's tough, but she loves this girl to pieces, and you can tell that by the way she treats her. And at the back of the book, there are actually some recipes of things that
Yes.
Nana made for Brenda when Brenda came to stay with her for her boot camp.
Wow.
And the second series is going to be Drop the Jerk. It's going to be an innovative approach to relationships, also not for sissies.
Yes. Yes,
And
definitely.
uh, and the third book is going to be Drop the Attitude, and it's an innovative approach to motivating yourself or getting off your ass.
Right. Awesome.
So,
Wow, you got your hands full, Susie. Now
oh,
you've
I
been
always
wearing a lot of
do.
hats, man. Yeah, that's
I
good.
always do.
Keep it going. Keep it going. So that's the future for Susie. You got a lot of things going on. You got this book, Nana, the badass Nana says, and oh man, you busy. You real busy.
Yes, I am. I have to keep busy or I get in all kinds of trouble.
That's right. Oh yeah, you gotta. But that's good. You keep it going, and a lot of my friends who retire, they like, I'm bored. I am so bored, and they're trying to find things. Like some of them even went back into the work field. They was like, I gotta get out, because they were so
Really?
used to just going, and they just feel like I don't have I need my brain to keep moving, man, and and the brain is dead. There's no power to it. So they was like, I'm
Yeah.
going back to work. So they did a little part time. They doing
Hmm.
little things, stuff like that. But that's good. You keeping it going. So you got your books, your nutritionist, you're doing big things. What advice can you give to those that are trying to start a book, start writing?
Um, Let her rip.
Let it rip.
Let her rip. Just get it out. You have to do a rough draft, and you have to realize that what you're writing, you're going to rewrite 10 times at least. So don't stress over it.
Right.
Just write it. Don't worry about the spell check. Don't worry about the punctuation or the grammar. Deal with it. Just dump it. Dump the book right
Dump
there.
the book.
Just dump it.
Yes.
Get it
Right.
out. And then let it sit for a few days, and then go back and reread it. And you'll be amazed at the changes you're going to want to make.
Right.
Or you'll think, wow, did I say that? I can't even believe I said that. I think because I'm a journal junkie, I have been writing in journals for 50 years,
Wow.
that I'm used to just dumping it. I mean, whatever's on my mind, I just put it down on paper.
Write it
So
down.
I've never had writer's block. In fact, I think I have HDHD or whatever it is. I, I have so many things going at the same time and so many ideas that I just don't feel like I have the time to write them. But I
Right.
think we think, oh gosh, I'm going to sit down and write a book now. Then just have some idea what you want to say or what you're going to do, but just write it and don't judge it. Don't judge every word you write.
Right.
There's time for that.
Right. You fix that later, right? You fix that, get them thoughts out. That's in your head
Get the
right now
thoughts
and write it
out.
down. Yeah. Wow,
Yeah,
that's
well,
good.
there's spontaneous writing, where if you don't know what to write about, just pick a word. Pick a word and write about that word.
Right.
Um, some people try to force themselves into being writers because they think it's such a cool idea, but they're not writers. Writers are people who love to play with words and they love to share ideas. And if you're not that kind of a person, you're going to struggle with being a writer. So
Right.
I think you have to know in your heart whether, if you have something that's worth talking about or saying or teaching, or some fantasy that you think would be a great story or whatever, great, you're on the road. If you have nothing, but you just sit down at the computer and say, I'm going to write a book today, you're setting yourself up for failure because you
Right.
haven't done the work mentally to get
Right.
into it.
Definitely got to do it mentally first.
Yep. You have to do everything mentally. I mean, if
Yeah, you
if
do.
we have our brain engaged in what we're doing and we're staying present moment, there's nothing we can't do.
That's facts. Yeah. So you got the brainstorming coach, brain food for writing prompts, ages 10 to 100. I love that. Wow. 10 to 100. You got
Mhm.
Save the Rebooting of Humanity and the Planet. And you got What the Teeter Totter? Revisiting Childhood as Therapy, Ups and Downs, a memoir, life lessons, all by Suzy Blake. And you got this new one getting ready to come out, Badass Nana Says. Ah,
Right.
boy, you got a lot going on, and I love it. I love it. Kudos to you. Where
Thank
can
you.
we find your stuff, Suzy Blake? Where can we find you?
You can find me at my website,
Yes.
which is the https:// Suzy Suzy dash Blake Blake dot UENIweb.com. That's my website, and you can see my art as well as my paintings.
Oh, wait a
And
minute. You do paintings.
yes, I do.
Okay, so go ahead. I want you to give out your information first and talk give me a few minutes with that painting stuff. So go ahead. I don't want to stop you with giving out your info.
Okay, well, all three of my books are available on Amazon. They're both in um, ebook form or paperback.
Nice. Very nice. Yes,
And you
guys.
can, if you go to my website, there are links to my books that will take you directly to Amazon.
Awesome. I got my books. You better go get yours. Yes. What the Teeter Totter saved and the brainstorming coach. Now, give me a few minutes on this art thing that you're doing here. The painting. And Suzy, I should have a part two with you. I didn't know you do so much. Go ahead, but this is what I love. You see, you retired as a nutritionist and you said, nope, I'm going to keep going. moving, grooving, growing, and you got your hands full, but you love what you do, and that's what makes it awesome. So now you're doing paint, you have paintings.
Well, I started painting when I was 50, and I'll tell you why. I was teaching a class called Renewal, which was a women's journal writing class.
Yes.
And we did the same exercise with each class that I taught, and it was, what did you do as a child that would cause you to lose track of time?
Right.
Or what was the big pull for you? Well, mine was my coloring book. And I would get these 2-inch thick coloring books in that big box of 64 crayons with the built-in sharpener. I mean,
Yes.
I died for that. That was my birthday present every year. And I would go
Wow.
underneath the shade tree on the farm, and I would, whenever I had time, I would color. And I was so proud of my coloring book, and I'd show it to my dad, and I'd say, look, I finished this coloring book. And he was my tutor, don't you know?
Oh,
And he's
wow.
like, if you have this much time to waste on painting, then you need to go to the library and get more books, because he thought art was a waste of time. So
Wow.
at 50, I had already done probably 10 years worth of that. What did you do as a child that you loved to do? And I realized it was coloring. So I thought for my 50th birthday, I wanted an easel and paints and some canvas,
Wow.
because I was going to, you can preach all you want, but if you don't do what you preach, you ought not to preach it.
That's right. Practice
So
what you preach.
exactly. So I had to practice what I was preaching, and I thought, okay, I need to paint. And so I told my husband that's what I wanted for my 50th birthday. And the reason my husband isn't in my life anymore, one of the reasons is because he bought me golf clubs, and did, he did not listen to me.
That was his. That was his on the
I
left.
know he wanted me. He bought the golf clubs for him.
Yes, he
Um,
did.
yes, he did. So anyway, I started painting when I was 50, and I just never had art lessons or anything. I just copied other paintings, like colored, the pictures from your calendar. I had a file that was about 2 inches thick of pictures I was going to paint someday. Now,
Right.
this had accumulated before my 50th birthday. So I had this folder, and I went up to the lake house for myself for a week by myself with my easel and my paints, and it took me a solid week to get my first painting done. But
Wow.
I was so proud of that painting. It was like I'd given birth. I opened up a bottle of wine, and I'm not much of a drinker, and I just danced around that with my bottle of wine for, the entire evening when I finished that painting. It was so much fun. So I paint now sporadically. I'll do 5 or 6 paintings, and then I won't paint for a year, and then I'll do 5 or 6 more, and I won't paint for a year. But it's been fun, and
Nice.
made me a lot of money back in the day.
Wow. That's
But I'm just
awesome.
doing it. I've got some paintings available on my website, and they change from time to time.
Nice. So where can we find that? Where can
On
we
my
check it
website.
out? Oh, right. On your website. You did say that. Okay.
Mhm.
Nice. Wow. That's awesome, Susie. You're doing great. That is beautiful. It's very nice that you keeping yourself busy and you keep going. So that is
You know
awesome.
why? You know why? You just don't want to have dust accumulating on you.
You're right.
That that's my thing. And I don't use the O word,
Yes.
old. I don't
That's
use
right.
it.
That's
I
right.
don't
You
use it.
shouldn't. You shouldn't. You're absolutely right. You really shouldn't. Well, that's great. Give me an inspirational quote before we leave. Something that will enlighten everyone that is looking to either get into art, nutrition, writing books. Give me a great inspirational quote before we end the show?
Well, I think you just need to spend time um, listening to your heart.
Listening to your heart.
Listen to
Sounds
your
awesome.
heart. We have all the answers. We have all the answers. And I think having an attitude of life is a banquet. You don't just take one serving of something. You try to sample everything on the table. We only come around once in life. This is not a dress rehearsal. That would be my favorite quote. This is not a dress rehearsal. But look at the table. I
Yeah.
mean, these people that say they don't know what to do with themselves, they need to look at the table. There is an unlimited amount of things that you can do on that table.
Right.
And if you can't
Right.
find anything for yourself, then give of yourself and go
Oh yeah.
volunteer, because there
Oh
are a
yeah.
bazillion places that need help and children that need extra mentoring, extra help with reading or language or whatever. You can volunteer yourself to pieces. I know I sure could.
Yeah.
And I've done it before where I've committed to so many things I've had to just yank myself back,
Right.
There's so many places that need people, need help.
Right.
Um, it can't all be about just what you want to do sometimes.
Right. You're right. You're right. Yes, and on that note, I want to thank you so much for being on my show. This has been awesome. I would love for you to come back, Suzy. I can't wait
I
to
would
start
too.
reading your books. Yes, yes, you have to. And I always tell everybody out there, you have to live, laugh, love. You have to love you first. Yeah, you have to love
Oh,
yourself
yeah.
first. Excuse me. You have to love yourself first because you can't love anyone or anything unless you love yourself first. You can't.
So
Stay
true.
healthy. Stay healthy and stay focused. Keep God first in your life and hug and squeeze your family and your pets because they family too. Just a little bit tighter every day. Love you, mommy and daddy. And I just want to thank you so much, Suzy, for being on Listen Up, Listening podcast. Um, I'm gonna keep following you, of course, and I'm gonna let you know about these books. I know they're gonna be awesome. I can't wait. I just want to sit somewhere where it's peace and quiet and just hear the ocean, hear the ocean as I'm reading these beautiful books. And keep doing what you're doing, Suzy. You're awesome. You are really awesome, and I love it.
Thank
I love it. I love it. So thanks
Thank
again
you.
for being on the show.
My pleasure. Hi, everyone. This is Suzy Blake. Keep listening to Preezy on the Listen Up, Listen In podcast. And check me out on my website at suzy-blake.ueniweb.com, where you can check out my books and my artwork.
That concludes this episode of Listen Up, Listen In with your host, Preezy. Hey, yo, Preezy, tell them how to keep in touch, baby.
Go to Instagram, Listen Up, Listen In 5687, and on Facebook, Listen Up, Listen In. You can also email me at listenuplisten5687@gmail.com. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, by following me on social media, you'll be able to see all the platforms my podcast is on. Wherever you consume my podcast, hit the subscribe button so you can be notified when a new episode is posted. Rate, review, and share this podcast.
Listen up, listen in. Listen up, listen in. Yeah.